Father Daniel LeBlanc, Oblate of Mary Immaculate, representing the Oblates and Vivat International here in New York at the United Nations. Father Valentine Talang is also living here with me at Ascension Parish and doing an internship at the United Nations. We were lucky this week to have Father Charles Rensburg with us, visiting, doing some work, and also getting to know New York and the UN and Vivat International and the Justice Coalition of Religious. What are your impressions?
Father Daniel, thank you very much to you and the community here for your warm hospitality. We're very, very grateful. I'm very grateful for this visit because it's helped to transition my and our understanding from a conceptual understanding of justice and peace that we often discuss at board level, to be able to experience it at the grassroots of how you are creating an agenda of advocacy amongst various governments, different forums of civil society, and for me that is very impressive to see, and even though it's not clear as to the visibility of what you're doing to be seen in the short term, I really do believe from what I have seen that in the long-term horizon your work is really advocating for the change, a global change of society in the long run, and I think it's a very valuable service you give to the church and to the poor. I think the things that stood out for me particularly is the conflict in the understanding of value. We come from a Christian society and we think that values are universal, and yet they're not. And people don't come from different perspectives, they come from different needs, they come from different histories, and that shapes the way in which values are perceived and constructed. And I think the work you're doing in this advocacy is at the level of the United Nations, is building consensus around constructing values that are good for society. And unfortunately, in the light of all the conflicts in the world and the injustices, that process of shaping values is an ongoing process that has to take place all the time. And I'm very grateful for what you're doing in this regard. And I was able to see that on a case-by-case basis in visiting the various offices and experiencing part of the conferences that you participate in. I was impressed in terms of when I looked at you, is that you're very brave and you're very challenged ambassadors. From what I've heard from your confreres and colleagues at work, is that you're not shy to call out ambassadors and their governments and challenging them towards good governance. And I think that is admirable. And you had said, in one comment, well, I'm not too sure if the ambassadors love or hate me, and it was a good sign that you're forthright, and that forthright challenge of governments towards values, I think, is a very good example. When we were in the conference together discussing resilience for societies, I was impressed by your depth of knowledge of countries. Particularly, we spoke about Costa Rica, and immediately you went on and you told me all the various things about Costa Rica, and the issues that are pertinent to that country in relation to justice and peace issues and social justice issues. And I just thought that depth of knowledge, of understanding of what is happening in different countries really enables you to really further the agenda of how to create advocacy opportunities. I was very impressed. I was also impressed how through your advocacy initiatives you managed to get homelessness placed on the agenda of governments in order to measure and to start addressing as a serious concern. And I think that if it wasn't for one of your advocacy initiatives, that probably would never have happened, you know. So I thought that was a very good example of how you're developing the agenda of the United Nations towards justice issues.